Welcome to Anything New. My name is Matt, and as always, I'm here with Opie
Hello, hello.
and Pete.
Hello, friends.
Anything New is a podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. Guys, we have got a pretty good little checklist of things here to talk about. We're going to talk about some games, both retro games and upcoming games. We're going to talk about some pickups that Pete and I have. We're going to talk about some stuff on Netflix stuff on Netflix that isn't our community watch. We're going to talk about that too. And then Opie's got a couple other movies he's added to the list here. But as always, we're going to start with our community watch pick. Our pick this week, or for this past week, was Army of the Dead. It hit Netflix a week ago this past Friday. So it's been on Netflix for a little over a week. This was Opie's pick. So Opie, why don't you go ahead and tell us what is Army of the Dead?
Army of the Dead. It's a Zack Snyder joint.
It is.
If you don't know Zack Snyder is the one who saved the Justice League movie.
It's not wrong.
Of more famous hilt. Zack Snyder. He's a director. He does comic book stuff. He does horror stuff. He does lots of stuff that we like to watch. But basically, this is a movie that hit Netflix, and it's a pretty good zombie flick. There is a government. Well, the movie starts off with this government convoy, this big military convoy, and apparently, just like kind of Area 51-ish or government conspiracy line, they're hauling something, and they don't even know what they're hauling. And it kind of starts off with a couple getting married in Vegas, of course, and the guy I guess it's on their honeymoons, getting a little early honeymoon, going down the road in the opposite direction of the convoy, and kind of gets distracted, if you want to know what I'm saying, and runs head on into one of the main trucks in the convoy, and flips the main payload out into the ground, and of course it comes open, and lo and behold, they're hauling this zombie. It's basically it's just I guess you can call it a zombie in the beginning, but it's sort of like a super zombie.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a lot. I mean, if you talk about even when The Walking Dead came out, there's all kinds of different zombies. Every zombie game has a different type of zombie. There's the slow moving, just like Night of the Living Dead, just like dumbfounded zombies, and then there's like the some of one of the games that we play where there's like fast moving zombies, there's zombies that explode, there's smart zombies. Anyway, so basically this zombie gets loose and finds its way back to Las Vegas. And the way that it's turning people, and it's a really quick turn. Like a lot of times, like if you're more familiar with The Walking Dead, when a zombie, you get infected or cut or bit by a zombie, you have to die. Well, I don't even know. We don't really know, do we, in The Walking Dead? I kind of need to backtrack on that, because everyone seems to be just infected. Just when you die, you turn. Correct? Is that
right? But that's unique to The Walking Dead.
It is. But the more of a common thing, if you get bit, cut, or hurt by a zombie or bled on, it just really depends. You can turn, but in this movie, they turn really quick. So the super zombie ends up turning that whole crew of military guys. They head on into Vegas, where it's only a matter of time. There's like a lot of good montages through the beginning opening credits of just how Vegas is centered around this movie gets turned. And it seems like Vegas is the only place they were able to quarantine just Las Vegas. They build this huge wall around Las Vegas. Las Vegas is totally turned, totally overridden by zombies. They've nuked it. They haven't nuked it, but they've bombed it. They've sent military in, but there's a small group of people, and it kind of shows the opening sequence of a small group of people, military-esque kind of people, kind of fight their way out. There's basic humans who they save, or basic citizens who they save. But anyway, long story short, there's this kind of gangster character that comes in, and Dave Bautista, which is an ex-wrestler, the guy from the Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep, Drax. I can't ever remember that movie, but he's the main dude. He's an ex-military guy. He's got family ties to this Vegas some of these Vegas refugees. And this gangster dude comes in and says, "Hey, listen, there is how many $50 million in this vault?
Hundreds of millions.
$100 million of dollars in this vault. There's a helicopter on the roof of this casino. You get a team together, you go in, you get the money, you get out, and you give me like we cut it, split it, or something like that, because the insurance money has already paid him." So basically, they put a team together. They go in, and lo and behold, Batista's daughter is involved. Apparently, she was in one of the refugee camps where it wasn't her mother, but it was somebody she's associated with that had some kids. She went in to try to earn some money or get some money or something like that, so they could buy their way out of this refugee camp and get away from the camp, the guards or whatever. And then his daughter, and she ends up getting lost on the inside. So Batista's daughter says she's going to go with him, and he's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Yes, I am, because I'm a daughter, and daughters are always trifling when their dad tells them that they can't do something, because I know from personal experience." So anyway, I was kind of feeling that argument. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Don't even argue with her. She's going to go or not." Anyway, so they get this group together, and there's always the one guy in some of these groups, kind of like Predator. There's always the one guy that's going to do what the government or the outsider that's not. He has an ulterior motive going in. So there's one of the characters in there that they're kind of suspicious about, because he just gets added onto the crew late, but apparently he has knowledge of the casino. So they're like, "Okay, you can come along." And once they get in, it's right out of the bat. They get this person who's this mole, this character. I don't want to call her a mole, but she's pretty much been taking people in and out. So she's kind of one of the locals that kind of know the area a lot. And she takes them in, and right in the beginning, they come into this area where there's a zombie tiger, like one of Siegfried and Roy's tigers have been turned into a zombie. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
And then she kind of goes into this story about there's just like this tribe of zombies, and there's a bunch of rules, and you can't walk on the streets and all this stuff, and all of a sudden it kind of starts to take shape that there's two sorts of different zombies. There's like the ones they had names for
alphas.
Them. Yeah, they had the alphas
and shamblers.
Shamblers, that's right. So the shamblers are pretty much your peons that are just easy to kill, they walk around dumbfounded or whatever. And then the alphas are a group that they're fast, they're smart, they're smart enough to know that the leader has a helmet he puts on, because he knows if he gets shot in the brain, that's how he dies. So he protects himself. So while they're interweaving through this movie, they actually sacrifice one of the guards that they took with him, because at first I thought they were just going to have him just to pack gasoline for the helicopter, which he wasn't a nice dude anyway. And I was like, okay, so they feed him they sacrifice him so they can kind of wander without being bothered, and try to get to this casino. But as they make their way through, they don't have a lot of resistance. They make it all the way to the casino when Batista's daughter decides she wants to go off on her own and try to find this lady that got lost in there that had the kids that she was going to be responsible for. So that's a different storyline that starts happening at the same time. So once they make it to the casino, they get all the way down, they find the money. They got a crazy guy on their team that does all that breaks the safe. But in the meantime, the guy that's been planted in there by the gangster, the one that we said they were kind of suspicious about, he goes out with the main lady, and I don't really know how they get separated from the group at that time. Do you guys remember, why did they just go out on their own and face off with that queen, and that's how she got her head cut off? Do you remember that?
I don't know why they did that. It seemed like they were trying to draw out the two of the alphas, but
no. He said he needed a vial of their blood.
Yeah, the blood. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So what happens is the guy that's kind of the plant or the infiltrator or whatever, he talks the the guide, the lady that takes them in and has guiding them around, he's like, hey, let's go back out. I need a vial of their blood. And I think he makes up some kind of story about, some kind of cure or whatever, maybe something like that. I didn't really catch that. I don't guess you guys either. But anyway, they wanted a vial of blood. So anyway, they go back out, leave the other group down there hauling the money out. And when they call out one of the alphas, which is the queen alpha, she's like the head alpha's main squeeze or whatever, and call her out, and they end up trapping her, and he cuts her head off and puts it in a bag. And he's like, don't you know that my boss doesn't need any of that money, that the head, which is still alive, the living head of this, one of these super zombies is worth more than millions. You could build an army of super zombies, blah, blah, blah. So that motive has come to surface, that he's in there. He's going to just screw the whole team, get out on his own to take that zombie head back to his boss. And that was the whole point of the whole team going in, is to get that guy in. So anyway, once they figure that out, the whole thing kind of blows up. It kind of caves in. They have to fight their way out, which is, a bunch of epic zombie battle scenes. They get screwed over by the infiltrator guy. He's trying to get out to the top, but in the midst of all the fighting, the one guide chick, she switches the head out of the box because she knows that's probably going to be some insurance for later, and he doesn't need to get out of here with it because he's going to just screw them all over. So anyway, Batista's daughter has gone off. He has to go save her. They all kind of meet back up at the chopper, where half of them have already died by one way, shape, or another. Batista ends up fighting the head zombie one-on-one on the chopper, which they crash land outside of of Las Vegas right at the time that they were getting ready to nuke Las Vegas. And one of the last guys on the team, he got trapped in the safe. So he survived the zombie war that they fought their way out. Plus he just survived the nuke, and he comes out with a bunch of money, and he gets on and he gets back to the hotel room. Well, actually, he gets back to a trailer park, finds a car, makes his way to an airport, gets on a plane. He realizes that he's not feeling right, and he realizes he got bit. So he's bit, infected, and the plane is getting ready to head into Mexico City, which, Mexico City is the most populated, one of the largest cities in the world. So that's kind of where it ends. It kind of drops off in a roundabout way. But yeah, it was a pretty good, straightforward zombie flick. I thought it was okay. I didn't absolutely love it 100%. I thought it could have been a little better, but it was cool. It had its cliche parts, here or there, but it was okay. What'd you guys think?
I thought it was pretty fun. We say it a lot that it's not going to win any awards, but yeah. I did see that it's one of the most viewed movies in the fastest viewed movies in Netflix history.
Yeah. Oh wow. Something like 75 million views in the first few days or something. Yeah.
I had some friends over, and we all watched it together, and that's to me the best way to watch one of these kind of movies, because you're all like, when the tiger comes out, everybody that was over here was like, oh, what? No way. Just like when the awesome gory parts, where the dude got smashed on the booby trap, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, just the reactions of the stuff like that. I kind of think makes it a fun experience to watch. It's the story was okay. I love the when I watched the trailer, I thought the setup was incredible. I was like, oh, now that sounds cool. They had to break in, and they're gonna be fighting all these zombies. I didn't really like the alpha kind of storyline of them procreating and stuff like that. I thought, but that was just me. I did you guys hear this whole thing about the dead pixel thing?
No.
So I was watching, it on a projector, right, in my house, and watching it, and I kept noticing like these little like spots that look like dead pixels, and I'm like, if I have a dead pixel in my projector, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. And that's like, I saw like 3 or 4 of them, like, and they would come in and out of different scenes. I'm like, what is going on? So I didn't mention anything about it. And then afterwards, I was just like on Reddit, and like one of the because sometimes after I watch one of our shows, I'll go on Reddit or something and kind of read about like things that other people were noticed during the movie, kind of give me ideas and stuff to talk about on here,
Mm-hmm.
And like one of them was like dead pixels, like question mark, exclamation mark, and then there was like a link to a story where Zack Snyder had used some lens from the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you watch the making of?
No.
There's like a 30-minute like little mini documentary also on Netflix about this, and one of the Zack Snyder talks about that. He actually shows. He said, part of the filming of this, I used a lens that I found on eBay that was made in the 60s, and he took the lens out of the old casing and put it in a more modern one so it would fit the cameras, and that's what sort of gave it its look. And he said, at one point, he said, actually, this movie is more in focus than I thought it would be. Like talking about like sharpness and everything. He said, this movie is more in focus than what I thought it would be. And I thought that was hilarious.
It adds that bokeh effect, like where it's soft in the background and everything's real sharp up close.
Yeah.
But they said that that lens caused something when they were producing the actual movie to cause these dead pixels, and like everybody, there was like hundreds of comments on the Reddit thread saying like, I thought my new 85-inch TV was messed up. Like it was like everybody. It's like one of those things like it's hard to notice, but then once you see it, you can't unsee it, and then you're
dead
like,
pixels are the worst. These TVs nowadays have millions of individual pixels.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to see one, but once you see it, your eye goes right to it every time.
Yeah.
1 out of 4 million pixels or whatever, your eye goes right to it.
Yeah.
Dang.
So look at like on this shot of the trailer. Look at the sharpness, I'm sure that this was probably used with that lens. You know what I mean? Like where it's like soft in the back, super sharp up front. So anyway, dead pixels aside, I liked it. It was a fun movie to watch. I do want to say, what about the whole time loop thing? Like,
dude. So that was a part in the middle. It was during the safe cracking scene. They were trying to get to the safe, and they actually saw some skeletons sitting down, and they realized, and they had realized it a little bit before too, that the rich guy who sent him in, he sent in another team before them. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. That adds a little bit of complexity to why they're going in. And he said, one of the main guys that was breaking in and safe said, what if we're caught in a time loop? And it showed on the skeletons the exact same necklace that one of the girls was wearing, and the exact same shirt as somebody else was wearing. And I was like, I was like, whoa, did we just get like this? Not only is this a zombie movie, it's a zombie movie with alpha zombies who almost have superpowers and that can procreate or give birth as zombies. That's crazy in itself. And now we're gonna get into some kind of time travel movie, and then that was never touched on again.
Well, so as I was perusing Reddit, there are other Easter eggs. There's a scene where they're in the casino, and there are people. They're them at the casino tables, in like plain clothes. Like
what?
Like the team is in the casino, like at tables and stuff. Like there's other little Easter eggs in there. Go on and look at it. It's pretty cool.
Whoa.
So it's almost, and like somebody put it, that could have been like where they succeeded, in getting the money out, and they all lived. You know what I mean? Like there's like all these other like time loop like theories and stuff. But then there was like an article where they asked Snyder about it, and he kind of just says, I just leaving that up for interpretation, So you have to check it out. It's pretty cool. That is a very Zack Snyder thing to do. Is like, I'm going to introduce this little thing, and then just leave it, right?
And I'm just going to let it sort of fester in your brain a little bit, and you figure it out.
I didn't pick up on it at the time. I didn't see it until I read it, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool that he did that. But I liked it. It is what it is. It was a good summer zombie movie, So I'll take it. I'll watch any one of those when they come out like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, and if they make a second one, I'll watch that one.
So I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Like this is one of probably my favorite movie that I've seen on Netflix this year. Of course, it's only into May, but I just loved it, man. I mean, Zack Snyder, he did Dawn of the Dead back, I want to say the late '90s. It may have been after that. I think it was after that. I'm not sure, but and that movie was great. I just Ocean's 11, but with zombies, and I really liked the different classes of zombie. The alphas, they're a little bit smarter, and the head alpha who wore the metal mask so he couldn't get a headshot, and I love the opening that we're seeing right here. Like, the opening reminded me, it just made me think Zack Snyder knows how to do openings, because it made me think of Watchmen, where he essentially told the history of the Minutemen. But just in like still imagery with music behind it, but you still got the story.
Yeah, I thought about that when I was watching the opening. I was like, he really told the whole apocalyptic issue that they were having and why Vegas was the way it is really quick.
Yeah, it was
good. We in that opening we see a character, presumably a main character from the time that Vegas is getting overrun, this woman, and we see her develop from like a mom and just a basic like soccer mom type role to almost like a commanding officer. And we're like, wow, she's really cool. And then she gets killed right at the end of the opening. Yeah. So that's like a whole movie in itself, just in like a 3 or 4 minute sequence. I thought that was great. Yeah. I really like this. They set it up for a sequel. I'm really hoping that they make one. The only thing that bugged me is that, of course we're going in spoilers because we had a week to watch this, but like, usually in these types of movies, at least somebody comes out the other end, or somebody comes out a little bit better. But everybody in this died. I guess except the daughter. Like she got out with a little bit of money, but they didn't get any of the money. Every single one of their crew died at some point, including Dave Bautista, which I actually figured he'd probably come out the other end or something. But and it's one of those movies where if one person doesn't do a bonehead thing, then the whole trajectory of their story changes. If the daughter didn't go after the other lady who had snuck in there, they would have gotten out fine. Or if the guy that was the security officer for the rich guy that sent him in, if he wasn't greedy trying to get the head, then they would have gotten out like super easy. Like it wasn't until he started messing with things that they even encountered any trouble. I mean, they encountered some zombies, but they were very methodically, going in like a military team, pop, 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 very easy. I thought one of the coolest sequences was the girl who actually, she was the first one to die when they got in. She was, she was sent down the wrong path when they were sneaking into those zombies, but she was like, she was, single-handedly took out a whole room. She was jumping through windows, and I thought that whole sequence was fantastic. But I really enjoyed this quite a bit. Like you said, it's not going to win any awards, but it was entertaining as hell, and that's all I care about. Did I have fun? Hell yeah, I had fun. This was like 2 hours and something, and I just had fun the whole time. I thought it was great.
They made such a big deal about that saw that they brought in. Did it kill one zombie once they were in there? They used it to cut at their way out. I don't think it did.
It wasn't a trailer, but I don't remember it being like used. Like he went and dug it up and everything, and like barely.
He dug it out of the ground. Somebody else picked it up, and he was like, "Don't touch my sword," or I think he called it a sword. Maybe said something. Don't touch it, and but then it never factored in. I figured he'd like mow through a bunch at one point, but
good movie.
But it was fantastic. So I give it 2 thumbs up for sure. If you and especially for being on, like I would have gone to see this at the theater and thoroughly enjoyed it at the theater. So the fact that it's on Netflix, that I could just like click a button and watch it, is super great. So my pick for next week, unless anybody's got anything else for Army of the Dead.
I don't think so. We pretty much covered it.
Well, I've got a pick for what we can watch this week. This is on HBO Max. Ooh. It's called Those Who Wish Me Dead. It Yeah, it stars Angelina Jolie. She is a I don't know what the proper term is. Not a firefighter, but she's one of the firefighters in like a forest that like sit up in the towers. She gets wrapped up. She sees a kid being chased by some other people, and she sort of gets wrapped up in trying to help him and whatever he's running from and why ever they're chasing him. I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer all the way through for obvious reasons, but she gets wrapped up in that. I know there's a scene where like the whole forest is on fire and she's trying to avoid him, but I don't know. I thought it looked interesting. It's on HBO Max, so I thought it'd be something easy for us to watch. It streams on HBO Max through Fire Watcher. Thanks, Jado. It streams through June 13th, so it's going to go off HBO Max at that point. So we've got time to watch it this week. But I thought it looked interesting.
Okay.
Pete, do you have a trailer for that?
I do have a trailer for that. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, let's watch about a minute of it or so.
All right, let's do that.
It's got John Bernthal in it. He's going to shoot some people, hopefully.
Why'd they put you in a fire tower?
Because she's hot.
Well, it's lucky, I guess.
I read the wind wrong. I should have gone to them.
Then you've been dead too.
That's our job.
Hey! Stop! I'm not gonna hurt you.
I want to see where the blood's coming from.
It's not my blood.
You in trouble?
Co-creator of Yellowstone, Pete.
Whoa!
Anyone else in trouble?
My dad said if anything happened, I should find someone I can trust. Are you someone I can trust?
We promise absolutes. Act accordingly.
Those men that came for your father. Did you see their faces?
Looks good.
Yeah, that's about where I stopped it too. I didn't want to see too much, but yeah, I thought it looked up to that point. I thought it looked interesting, so we'll see.
Yeah, looks good.
If it's good or not. So while we're on Netflix, even though that was on HBO Max, while we're talking about Netflix, Opie, why don't you tell us about The Framing of John DeLorean?
Yeah, on Netflix, I saw this pop up. It's been on there a couple of weeks now. But John DeLorean, does anybody know who John DeLorean is or know what he's famous for?
The DeLorean? He created a time machine?
Well, not exactly a time machine. But John DeLorean is responsible for the DeLorean car,
which is a time machine, duh.
And that was in the Back to the Future movies. That's what he is famous for. Basically, this was on Netflix, and I'm seeing a trend now with documentaries using real actors to act out parts of the person's life, like something that really happened in the person. Like you're doing a documentary on somebody, then they hire actors to reenact these scenes. For the documentary, and they kind of weave them in with the actual footage. But Alec Baldwin plays John DeLorean in some of these scenes in this. Yes, and John DeLorean's wife is played by, and I just had her name pulled up here, Marina, is it from Deadpool? Marina Baccarin.
Hey, Baccarin. No, I didn't say that right.
But John DeLorean was a real up and comer. He's kind
Baccarin.
of
Baccarin.
Yeah. But John DeLorean in the 50s and 60s was an up and comer at GM, General Motors. Of course, we all know in the 50s and 60s and 70s, GM kind of ruled the world. Basically they made cars, Chevrolet, GM, Pontiac, and DeLorean was an up and comer in this company, and he got put on a project. And what he's kind of famous for is he got put in with Pontiac, and the first year he was there, he was such a forward thinker that he developed pretty much the GTO, Pontiac GTO. If you guys know that car, that's what he's kind of famous for, catapulting Pontiac. And a lot of people say he's the kind of the godfather of modern muscle cars, where he kind of in the beginning, where where Chevrolet and GM were making, family cars, big cars with big motors. He was going to put a big motor in a smaller car and make it fast and sporty, and it kind of took off with the younger crowd and kind of catapulted him into the upper management with GM, and he's responsible for a lot of things like the Firebird and the GTO. So anyway, he was young at the time when he was at GM, and as he worked his way up, he was kind of a different guy. He kind of was a lifestyle kind of, he liked to, not wear suits and ties. Almost reminds you of kind of Steve Jobs in the car industry, and it's kind of a good way to kind of describe him. So as he made his way up, he was kind of set to be GM's next president if he kind of just would have played along with what they were doing. But what happened was he was seeing kind of the European invasion of the smaller compact cars, like Japan and Volkswagen and things like that were kind of in the late 70s, early 80s, were kind of invading and kind of making better cars, making more fuel efficient cars, and we're kind of trending upward. Well, he was trying to steer GM in that direction. It was kind of rubbing the old heads the wrong way, and he eventually left GM to start his own car company. And a lot of factors came into play. I mean, one of the biggest things you're going to hear about John DeLorean is that the reason that he didn't succeed is there was a big, you always hear about this cocaine deal that happened or something went wrong with that, but basically it wasn't anything really involving him with cocaine. He tried to get his business up off the ground. He was trying to generate money. They had a plant in Ireland, of all places, that they were making these DeLoreans and shipping them over here. But he made a couple of wrong moves, got his company in hot water, and he needed money. So basically what happens, he set up a drug deal. But the thing about it is the reason the documentary was called Framing John DeLorean is he got off innocent at a multi-million-dollar drug deal because the government kind of framed, well, I don't know if frame's the right word, but steered him into this kind of drug deal. Like they kind of entrapped him, so to speak, in it when this happened. And it was a huge story. Right about the time this happened, it was around 1981, and Reagan was in office, and there was the whole war on drugs thing, just say no and dare, all the stuff we grew up with. So a lot of people say that the government or the FBI was trying to get their big profile case for Reagan's campaign. Basically it kind of all went downhill from there. He made the DeLorean cars, and they had a lot of issues with those, which they kind of weren't great coming off the lot. There was a lot of issues with them.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it talked about why the cars just weren't very good. Yeah, it kept breaking down.
It was just a lot of cut corners. I mean, they did a lot of things just to push them. He built a factory and put the cars on, shipped the cars over here like within 2 years. So it was insanely fast on developing your own company, getting it off the ground, and building a car. And so they had a lot of quality issues with it as the first, 3,000 or 4,000 came off the lot and came over here. But eventually, the drug deal was one thing that kind of hit his reputation. But then also there was like $17 million that was invested into the company that he ended up pocketing himself. Instead of putting it back in the company, he kind of forged some documents and tried to look like that it was a loan to himself, that he was going to pay it back. But that ended up just being what done him in. And they talk about, all that. He's got 2 children. One's our age. She was born in 1977, and one was born, he adopted it, a couple of years earlier than that, but his son. And they kind of talk about the Back to the Future movies, and how if he could have just made 1 or 2 better decisions and held on, because his company went under like in 83, and I think Back to the Future was shot in 85, right? Was that correct?
Probably 84 because it came out in 85.
It came out in 85. So if he could have hung on that publicity, they're talking about how it could have just, of course, how famous they are now. But it was really cool to see Alec Baldwin play him in that. And I've seen this before, is like they do they're doing deep fakes too in documentaries too. Like,
really?
James, I don't know if you know the 30 for 30 that ESPN does when they did the Raiders, the 30 for 30 with Al Davis, who's the notorious Raiders owner, and then Bud Selig. No, it wasn't Bud Selig. Who was the commissioner of the NFL that Al Davis went head to head with so much? But anyway, they deep faked them, two actors that played them, just to do that documentary. So it's cool. Pete Rozelle. Yep, you're right. Yep. So you can catch that too. But it was a good one. I like documentaries and I like cars, and I saw that and I wanted to see what they said about the Back to the Future movies, and I've heard a lot of stuff about him, but it was a really well done documentary. I liked it a lot.
Nice. I hadn't even heard of it, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, what about Jackie Brown?
This was a long weekend kind of. I was like, you're talking about HBO Max earlier. I was flipping through HBO Max and I always see what they add on there, and I've been doing a lot of 90s stuff lately. I've been listening to a lot of 90s music, and I like watching movies from the 90s that I hadn't necessarily seen. And this popped up on there, and I had always asked myself, why have I never watched, as much as I like Pulp Fiction, and that's what I loved, Reservoir Dogs, and this was 1997. Why did I never watch Jackie Brown? And I kind of, I don't really know the answer to that, why I had never watched it. Have you guys ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it either.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I think when it first came out.
Yeah, but it's basically your typical Quentin Tarantino movie. It's Samuel L. Jackson's the main character. Robert De Niro's in it. Bridget Fonda's in it, which I love Bridget Fonda back then. She was so hot. And and Pam Grier is the main actress in it. Michael Keaton's in it. Also Chris Tucker's in it for a short time. That's a young Chris Tucker at the time. But basically, Samuel L. Jackson plays this just gun dealer, and he's got different people doing things for him. Jackie Brown is a stewardess, and basically the stewardess is bringing money back from him that he's got in Mexico, because she works for a Mexican airline that flies back and forth from Los Angeles to Mexico. And it's with some cool twists and turns. Now, this movie is not backwards like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs were kind of shot. This is pretty straightforward. You get the timeline. He kind of flashes back a couple of times. But anyway, long story short, she kind of gets caught by the cops, and she plays the cops against him, and kind of comes out smelling like a rose on the other side with a little bit of help. So, I'll leave it up to you if you want to watch it. It's a pretty good flick. It's not his best movie, but I just kind of I had a couple hours this morning. I watched it first thing. I kind of woke up this morning and just watched it, kind of hanging out while I woke up, and everybody else was kind of chilling in the house and ate breakfast. I was like, I just turned it on to have it going, and I got interested in it. And I thought, I was like, you think it's one of those movies you'll have play, and then like, I'll take a nap, or I'll doze off, or I'll wake back up. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. So you guys should watch it again if you want to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was looking at Pam Grier's filmography. I thought there was a big lapse in time from when she was in something to when she was in the next thing, but I guess not. She was real big in like, a lot of the 70s like blaxploitation films and stuff. So I always wanted to watch a bunch of those with her in it, because I think I really like her. Yep. But I never watched those or this. So
yep.
I don't know why. We're gonna switch gears here, guys, and we're gonna talk about some video games. But not video games we've played, but ones we're looking forward to in the future. Pete, you added this one. Why don't you tell us some about some of the things you're looking forward to?
Yeah, there's a slew of games coming out, and it's kind of like this weird time where the new consoles are out if you can find them. But we still a lot of the games that are coming out now. Some of like the new Horizon game that's coming out. It's a PlayStation exclusive, but it's not a PS5 exclusive, so you can still play it if you have a PS4, which is really nice that is like that. So there's a lot of games that are either, it seems like pretty much everything that's coming out now, for the big games are kind of like straddling both systems. So they're not, you can call them next gen games, but they're still kind of made for the older hardware too, you know? So maybe in like what do you think? Like 2 years? They might,
maybe there's
might
never
only be on the
been
new systems.
there's never been a period of time in gaming history where, you know, we're still riding the old consoles, but also new ones are out, where you don't need the new ones. Like, there are almost no exclusive games for either system. There's definitely no exclusive Xbox Series X games, but PlayStation 5, there's Returnal and there's Dark Souls, Demon Souls, right? Demon Souls.
Yeah.
And I think those are the only two PS5 games, specific PS5 games right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is weird.
And I wonder if that's going to change when when and if the console shortage is ever over. Because right now consoles are so impossible to get. I'm glad that you don't have to have one of these to play. I mean, I've got a PS5, so I guess it wouldn't affect me. But you know, I feel bad for everybody else who's looking for one that can't get one. I mean, because I'm trying to find an Xbox Series X and can't find one. So
yeah,
you know, I feel bad for anybody in that situation.
Well, the first one I wanted to talk that I'm looking forward to. Did you see it? They played it on this last like Xbox little thing where they were showing the new games and stuff. It's exclusive to the Xbox lineup. So, you know, you got Xbox One, Series X, Series S, and it'll be on Windows. Yeah. It's that isometric shooter, the Ascent.
It starts with an A, right?
Yeah, the Ascent.
Yeah.
Where it's like an RPG and set in like a cyberpunk universe that with like huge, like just the explosions and stuff look really cool. Multiplayer, so we'll be able to play. I think it's like 3 or 4 at a time.
Yeah,
where it kind of looks like what's the old game from like where you're running around in like the game show from like the
Smash TV.
Yeah, you know, it's like where you're like you see your little dudes on the screen. You know, they're kind of like from up above. So it's kind of like a unique kind of perspective. And I had a little trailer pulled up here for it because I wanted to kind of just show off like kind of how it looks, because I thought it looked kind of interesting. Might be a game that we all could play together, you know. So
I'd play it. I don't even care.
You know, this is kind of like how it looks. It's so it looks, you know, cyberpunkish, you know, some sort of like dystopian future with aliens and weird things and creatures but let's see where some of the action is here. But so like
see, that looks right up my alley.
Yeah, this would be fun. Like, this would be an awesome game. It comes out in July. You know, maybe we could play it on PC. I didn't read I'm sure it'll probably be cross-play between, wouldn't you say? Like,
is it a first-party Microsoft title?
No, well, I was trying to read up about that, but it's like some independent studio, but then somebody said that they've already been bought by Microsoft. So I don't know what the case is.
Yeah, that's if Microsoft has bought them, then yeah, it'll be cross-platform between PC and Xbox for sure.
Yeah, but it looks fun. I guess there's a ton of different weapons and customizations, kind of, you know, make your guy a little bit more like an RPG. Like, I think there was like, so see here, there's like all kinds of like little attributes and things like that, and you know, looks interesting. Yeah. So, some game that, you know, we could get into. Like, look at those little, like the lighting effects are cool.
Yeah, I had forgotten all about that game, but yeah, that was one of the ones I think I was most looking forward to when they first showed it at some virtual show, but like they didn't show very much of it. But even despite the fact that they didn't show a lot of it, this was still one of the ones I thought looked the coolest.
Yeah, so I want to see that, and then the other one that I'm looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn. I'll let you talk a little bit about that because that's kind of your alley. But Far Cry 6 looks really good to me. I have missed like the last couple. Like, I've just not played them, and I like how they this one's going to be about Cuba. So I'm kind of, you know, they like to get into the politics on things, you know, and kind of get into, you know, the things with the cult, you know, like on the last one where there were like these political and religious cults kind of that are going on, and I missed the story on those. So I'm probably just going to hop right in on Far Cry 6. It comes out, I think it's in June, isn't it? It's coming up soon. So that's something that and the graphics, you know, Far Cry always looks amazing.
October.
October. Oh, dang it. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that, but it's a little bit later. So yeah, Far Cry 6. I'm going to play that, and Ascent. What about you, Matt? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I played Far Cry 5 all the way through on PC, like beat it and everything. And it was fun. Open world, more open. It wasn't open world, but I mean it was like open region, I guess. But
Right.
it's the kind of game I like where, lots of icons on the map, lots of things to go do. Side quests, main quests, little, other things. It was good. I don't know if I'm not clamoring for the next one. I think with Far Cry 5, I was sort of ready to be done with it near the end, but yeah, I mean, it was all right. I may try Far Cry 6 at some point. The ending for Far Cry 5 was crazy.
Well, since I didn't play 5, I'm kind of like looking forward to this one. So if I would have played 5, then I might have had my Far Cry fill, because I'm sure it probably follows the same kind of roadmap like all the other Far Cries, But yeah, I think it looks good. I mean, look at his graphics; it looks good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll name off a couple. Obviously, God of War Ragnarok is a highly anticipated game of mine. It says 2021. I guarantee it's not released in 2020. There's no way it gets released in 2021. So I'm not going to count that for this, because I think we're just talking about this year. There is a game called Kinah Bridge of Spirits that is I think it's more like a AA game than a AAA game. I believe this one is on PS4 and PS5 and PC, coming out August 24th, allegedly. I think that looks really, really good. I don't know a whole lot about the story or anything, but it looks, like the gameplay looks like the kind of gameplay that I like. Third person action adventure. I like the more stylized graphics like this. A little bit more cartoony, but not in a bad way. A little bit less realistic. I dig this kind of stuff right here. But then the two that come to mind that I'm most excited for immediately are, one of them is a PS5 exclusive, one of the only PS5 exclusives, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh my gosh, I loved the Ratchet and Clank remake that was a PS4 exclusive, and Rift Apart looks even better. It is a PS5 exclusive, so it won't work on PS4. And
that's one of the ones like we were talking about with the next gen. This looks truly next gen. Like I don't know, think that they could make it on. I mean, we say that, and then it'll come out on the Nintendo Switch and it'll play at like 4 frames per second. How they like to do. But I don't think that the older last gen hardware could run it. As high res as it looks and beautiful as it looks on the trailers. Low times.
Yeah, they made a point of this one to a big part of this game is there's a weapon, or you have something that you can actually almost go through a rift, and it takes you to a whole different part of the map, or even to a different world or something. And they talked about they wouldn't have been able to do that on earlier consoles because of load times. They said that the SSD in the PS5 is what makes that particular mechanic work so well. I am over the moon excited for this. I want to say this comes out in June. I mean, we're real close to it. We get a new Lombax character named Rivet, a female character, who is from what it looks like, it's kind of like I want to say it's like an alternate universe to Ratchet and Clank, but I might be wrong. But this one, oh my gosh, I love the first Ratchet, or the first Ratchet and Clank remake. And then obviously the biggest one that I'm just doing cartwheels for is Horizon Forbidden West. We've talked about that a little bit. I did watch the gameplay, the 20-minute gameplay demo from just I think last week they showed it. Horizon Zero Dawn was my game of the year in 2016, and this is going to be my game of the year for 2021, hands down. Nothing's going to beat it. Nothing's going to touch it. I love Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh wait, Horizon Zero Dawn was 2017. Whatever year it was that it came out, it was my game of the year that year. Horizon Forbidden West is going to be even better. The graphics look better. There's more. She has a Link Breath of the Wild style glider that lets her glide down. She's got more weapons. There's more ways to traverse the world and things like that.
She can swim with a Jedi mouth breather. Did
Yeah,
you see that?
yeah,
Like
she was.
she was swimming and she had like a little thing in her mouth. So
Yeah,
she's like
I
Qui-Gon.
just think Horizon Forbidden West is, when you say, "Hey, Matt, what is your favorite type of game?" I would just point to that game and say that. That is my type of game right there. So I'm so excited for that. I actually thought it was a PS5 exclusive, but you're right, it's on the PS4 as well. So
Yeah, I liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I played. I was probably 30% through it, and then kind of got burnt out on it. And I don't know. It's one of those games like where if I sit down for a while, and it's like I just don't go back to it, and I'm like, oh well, I got my fill on that. I got $60 worth probably, but it was fun. I mean, I might if I get I probably wouldn't play that one on a PS4 Pro. If I had a PS5, I would probably play it. But since I don't, I might wait and just get it at some point later on.
yeah, those are probably them. You know, the biggest one. I mean, there's other things like Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh yeah, Deathloop looks interesting.
The one that we were just talking about that has the demo out now. Scarlet Nexus. That one looks pretty cool too. You can play a demo now, but I haven't tried it yet. So yeah, there's tons of stuff, but Horizon Forbidden West for me is a number one.
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks
Oh, but you got
cool.
any that you're looking forward to?
I'm going down through the list here. Something on Game Informer. I'll just kind of point out some that I don't know how much I'll necessarily play a lot of new games going forward because I don't want to have I don't have one of the newer systems yet. But Burning Crusade comes out tomorrow. It launches
Burning
tomorrow.
Crusade Classic, yeah,
Classic comes out tomorrow. There's a Ghost and Goblins Resurrection is the Ghost and Goblins series for the traditional Ghost and Goblins, but with new updated graphics, a whole different, it's a new thing that I saw some footage on that looked pretty cool. Matt, you didn't mention Final Fantasy Remake 2 Part 2 coming out.
Oh
this
yeah,
year.
that is also a game that you could play.
You're going to play it, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not. It's just like a little bit of an update to the first Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not like a whole other game.
Oh, I thought it was the second part.
Oh no! It's not. No, it's not the second part. That's who knows when that's coming out.
Oh, okay.
That'll be years from now, probably.
I thought that was it. Let's see. Oh well, and there's a Final Fantasy 14 expansion coming out at the end of this year too. The new Final Fantasy 14 expansion that Dan and Level Cap guys are looking forward to. There's 2 new Pokemons coming out in November. Pokemon,
ooh yeah,
Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are coming out in later this year, supposedly. Therefore, such as, let's see what kind of jumps out on the page here. Nothing more. There's a Ninja Gaiden collection that looks kind of interesting coming out for that, but other than that, I don't really know
about that Burning Crusade. Are they going to do the launch event like they did for the original, like where you go to the portal and stuff like that?
Oh, they should. I mean, yeah, I think they have to because they gave you the option to switch your character to even. Are you going to start? Are you going to keep this one classic vanilla, or are you going to keep it?
Oh,
are you going to go
keep leveling?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So if you chose to keep your character classic vanilla, you don't get any of the launch event stuff probably because that server that you're on won't proceed. The events won't happen. So you just stay classic vanilla and play classic vanilla like your highest dungeon is Naxxramas, I guess,
right?
Or AQ. But if you choose to turn that character into classic Burning Crusade, you can take that level 60, and of course, whatever happens on that server, it'll probably go through with all the events of the opening of the Dark Portal and the whole war, all the wars and stuff, which was an exciting time in my life.
I should say, since we're talking about games we're looking forward to, I also was looking forward to going and visiting my friend Opie over the weekend.
Oh,
yes, you were here last night.
I was there last night, and spent the evening with my friend, and we played some video games. I got to look at all of his beautiful collection that you see behind him. So you know how it is when you go. you're just kind of browsing around. You're like, oh, I love this. Well, I had that. Well, I remember this. Oh, that's so cool. So
and I have totes of stuff that he can't even get into. Yeah.
So I geeked out on all that stuff for a while, and then we sat down at his little TV back there in the back and hooked up. What was it, the 360?
Yeah, we played the Xbox 360, and I thought just a game that you and I could sit down and pick up, and we would probably some
NCAA
football 14.
Yeah, so that's the last one.
Because I knew that you hadn't played it as long as I haven't played it, so I thought I couldn't throw in Madden and play you or anything like that. Because number one, I don't have it. And number two, I just thought it'd be fun. But those were always fun. I knew we'd have a good time with that. And we did. I got beat both games. But it was the second game was a barn burner. It was an NCAA. It was an EA Instant Classic.
It was. And we did a thing where, the first game we played, we did our favorite, college teams. He was Tennessee, of course. I was Cincinnati Bearcats. And, I kind of went into Neyland Stadium and whooped up on him a little bit. But then we decided he had an idea of doing 2 random teams. And it was a good idea. It was because there's a button you can push on your team select where you can randomize out of any university. So the way we did it was you had 3 pushes of the button. But if you got to your third pick, that's the team you had to stick with. So if you got a decent team on your first roll, you had to make a decision like, I got Oregon State. That's a pretty good team, but I could get somebody better, or I could get Toledo. So so it's like, what do you do here? So my first roll, I got Nebraska, and so I was like, well, that's pretty good. That's a good team, so I'll stick with them. And Opie rolled his first one, and it was
Toledo, and then Akron,
and then he rolled again Toledo, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to destroy him. And then his third roll was Texas Tech, which was in 2014 was solid. They were a really good team. Just a spread offense, throw it down the field kind of team. So we played that, and it was like he came out just like on fire. It was a good game. Like he was beating me pretty handily in the first half. My starting quarterback got hurt. Brought in my
ringer.
My backup quarterback comes in, and I'm like, I'm probably done here, And he's just like lightning fast. I start running like a read option play, like where I'm like deciding to hand the ball off to the running back or take off with the quarterback, And Coach Lawson he couldn't make adjustments, And I came back and win at the end. He threw a pick, I think, on his last drive. It was a good
field goal with 6 seconds left.
Kicked the field goal with 6 seconds left. It was
win the game.
It was a great game. It was a great game. It was, and at the end, it'll show like I don't know how it does it, like how it awards value to plays. I guess maybe lead changes or something. But it came up and it said like this is your number one classic. Like it ranks like your classic game. So it was a great game. So I got to do that and hang out with Opie. So that was really fun. And these guys are coming up to my place in a couple weeks.
Like 3 weeks from now. Something like that.
So they're going to come up here. I'm sure we'll be talking about that beforehand and after. So maybe we'll get a little footage or something from the event and then share it on here. That'd
be awesome. We might even do like a live podcast from his house.
Let's
just get all 3 of us in a room. We can crowd around a mic and
we'll have to ask Dan. He kind of lets us know if we can do it or not.
Well, it's your house.
No, he tells me what I can do at my own house. That's the way it works. I'm just kidding.
Just give him some Trulies.
Lovely. So that's all I want to talk about with the video games, but it was fun. Good time.
Nice. Hey, one thing I want to say real quick, just because I had Horizon Forbidden West pulled up in Google, just looking at some stuff, and one of them was a news article about how Aloy looks different. Her face is fuller in the new one versus the old one. Anybody who thinks that's a big deal, go to hell. You know what? This is why I hate gamers. This is why we can't have anything nice. If you think that's a big deal, you don't deserve any good games ever, and you don't deserve to play this. I just don't know why things like that are a big deal. The game looks great. Who cares what? Everything's more detailed. So I don't understand what. Anyway, I get on soapbox about that. But Pete, after you told me about it, I went and like looked. I was like, what is this? And I looked about. I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. I hate gamers. I can't stand gamers because they're just ugh. Never mind. We're gonna move on. I got some pickups, and Pete's got some pickups. I'm gonna go first because Pete's pickups are related to something else. So, I was out of town for a few days last week. And while I was away, I had to go to Walmart to pick up some groceries for my parents. And while I was there, I found this neat little Spider-Man Q-Fig.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool. I want to say
Q-Fig? What is that?
It's like just like anything else, Funko Pops or whatever else. They come in a box like that. There's a whole bunch of them. I have a Batman one that I got from a monthly loot crate a long time ago, but it's the only one I have. And then I got this too. I just thought that looked really cool. I don't normally like little just collectibles like this, but that one was too cool to pass up. And then turns out that where my parents live, there's actually a game exchange now. So their small town has a game exchange that's full of used retro games of everything from Atari all the way to Xbox One and all that. So I picked up a few. I picked up SSX3 for the OG Xbox to add to my SSX collection. And then I should have done this one first. And then I picked up the first SSX for the PS2 to go with my SSX collection. I still can't find SSX Tricky yet, but I wish I hadn't gotten rid of mine. And then for the Xbox 360, I paid more than I wanted to for it, but I really wanted it. Transformers Fall of Cybertron. There's this one and there's War for Cybertron. I don't remember which one's which one's first, but I had whichever one was first. I had that and I played it and I liked it, and then I ended up selling all my games, so I got that one back. Seems like I got one more little thing. Oh yeah, I also got the Lego Daily Bugle.
You dog! I told you not to get that. You did not need that,
dude.
I totally needed it.
I told you to get it.
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta treat yourself.
Well, I treat myself too often, but this one I couldn't pass up on. This is supposedly Lego's biggest Marvel set at 3,700 pieces, almost 3,800 pieces. It stands like 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall, I think. Comes with 25 minifigures, and it's in a big old box, and it's kind of cool because the back, I can't even really get this, like it's all enclosed, but the back of it, they make it to where like the back pops off so you can see inside. So
what's
I thought
the
that
deal
was pretty
with
cool.
the Spidey Jeep on the side? Is that something that happens in the...
Yeah, the Spider-Mobile in the 70s. They thought that Spider-Man needed a dune buggy.
Of course he does.
But and so Johnny Storm, Human Torch of the Fantastic Four, actually created it for him, and it could actually drive up the side of buildings.
Oh wow!
But Spider-Man Peter Parker never learned how to drive, so he couldn't really drive it. Like 2 issues later, it got trashed or whatever. And now it's like a running gag. The Spider-Mobile is a running gag. So it's actually the whole thing. There's a picture of it somewhere, but yeah, so it's right there. You can attach it to the side of the building, and
yeah.
J-Dub, that's not nice. He will too build.
Oh, I'll totally build this for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's got like a minifigure of the Punisher. I mean, that's crazy. What? The Punisher Lego. It's pretty funny. Daredevil. A bunch of J. Jonah Jameson.
Just so those little hints and Easter eggs on those. How closely do you think Lego works with Marvel? They have to work like really close with them to do stuff like that, right?
Oh, I'm sure, especially for that one. Yeah.
Like I didn't understand that. I knew it had to be some kind of something that
they did a lot of weird things in the 70s, but I had to get it. I was a little bit freaked out because the FedEx delivery shipment said it was on the truck and will be delivered to my house on Saturday. And on Saturday afternoon, FedEx guy pulled up in front of my house. I was like, sweet, here we go. And he never got out. And then he just drove away. I was like, wait a minute. And then I saw him deliver a big old box to my neighbor like across the street. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Do I go over there and ask if I can look at that? But then I kept checking, and it kept saying out for delivery, out for delivery. Like it never said delivered.
Right.
And then Saturday night, it said on the truck will be delivered by Wednesday, June 2nd. I was like, well, if it's on the truck, why do I have to wait till Wednesday? But then Sunday, it showed up at like 11 in the morning or something. So I got a little bit nervous because it wasn't really cheap, and I was scared I wasn't going to get it. But yeah,
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. So
it's awesome. Congratulations.
that's it. That's it for me. Pete, what you got?
Okay, well, we're gonna, we played the NES trivia in the past. So I picked up a few NES carts this week from one of the little local shops. So I thought maybe for NES trivia this week, I'll throw in some of these games, and then I'll show it, and then I'll show you the cart afterwards, because these are games that I got this week.
Yeah.
And they're kind of I think the difficulty level is going to be ramped up, boys.
Okay.
These are a little bit, there might be, dare I say, obscure. Not real sure. I mean, some of these I'd never even heard of. That's why I kind of.
Now, this is the NES, right? Because you've been on a big
NES
Game
carts.
Boy spree right now.
I have been, yep.
But this is NES. Okay.
NES carts, NES trivia. Let me pop up our little banner here. Okay. All right. So we're just going to do it the same way we've been doing it. So if you know it, just yell it out. Okay.
Okay.
This first one is I'm just going to say this is I'd never even heard of this game. So, but it looks coolish. After, it's one of those like where I bought it based on the name and the art on the cart. So, all right, here we go. See if you guys know what this bad boy is. I'll be very impressed. But you guys are pretty smart on this stuff, so we'll see.
Ooh. So it looks like some kind of old school Wolfenstein, the NES version of Wolfenstein. Is it Wolfenstein?
No.
Or Duke Nukem? It's a fantasy. Yeah.
It's a fantasy game.
It's a tough one.
I don't know.
You remember the developer? How do you say it? Taito, like Taito. Remember?
Yeah.
It's them. It's a tough one. I'd never even heard of it.
I don't know.
It's not Iron Sword, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
Should I just give it to you? It's a tough one.
Yeah,
because Opie's Googling it. He's cheating.
Well, no, there was a cart that had Fabio on the front of it, and it was a fantasy one, and I thought that maybe might be it.
Well, when I show you this cart, you'll be like, "Oh, wow, that does look really cool. I see why you bought it."
Okay.
All right. So this is Dungeon Magic.
Okay.
Sword,
really cool.
Sword of the Elements.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
Okay, so
as a kid, I always wish that the games on the NES would look as awesome as they do on the carts, and now the games do look as awesome as they do on the box art.
Yep. All right, we ready for game 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Afterburner.
Yeah, dadgummit.
Nope.
Afterburner 2.
Nope.
That looks just like Afterburner.
Yeah, I know it does.
Top Gun.
F-14 Tomcat.
Nope.
What? That looks like a pretty fun game, though.
Yeah.
Top Gun 2?
Nope. Let me see if there's any other type of gameplay in here.
Oh my gosh.
That does look fun.
Wait. Keep going. I remember this. What is this game?
At the top. There it is.
Captain Skyhawk.
Captain Skyhawk.
I got
That's
it.
what it is.
I got it first.
I played that part. Yes, that is such a that game's everywhere.
I know.
That's a really common game.
Like I
I remember that.
It's like $2, you know. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll buy it.
I played that part. That part right there is so crazy. You gotta. It's so nuts.
You gotta line it up
Yes.
when you go into dock.
Captain Skyhawk, you son of a.
Okay, so these are tough ones, man. These are tough ones.
They
All
are.
right, I gotta remember not to scan on the thing because then it puts the name up on there.
Yeah.
I always forget.
Yeah, we don't have to count that one for me because I cheated.
Bull's ass.
I thought maybe for a second that I might have already done this one. So if I have, I apologize, but I bought it, so I'm gonna show it. All right, here we go.
Tiger Heli.
Boom. Good job.
Woo! Played this one a couple of times.
Look at that. Got the cart. Looks
That's
good.
a good
Yeah,
one.
nice.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
I think I
classic.
played this one.
You get the 2 little helicopters. That's so cool. Yay. It's a good one.
Yeah, see, then you're kind of going over different topography.
You get the bomb. Boo.
Oh, shooting out from the side.
That's pretty awesome.
All right, so that's that one. Let's see. We've got a couple more here. All right, this one I thought is cool. Like I don't know. I think you might get this one just because you can kind of maybe see what's going on here and guess it because it's I'm not going to say anything else. I'll just play it. This will be a good one. I'm excited to see if you guys can get this one.
Oh, Mad Max?
Correct. Good job.
Boom. Total guess.
I know. That's kind of, it's like a souped up car. Looks like
I've never played that before.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know there was a Mad Max. Ooh, Mad Max looks awful.
That looks pretty fun.
Is this the whole game, like just driving around in the wasteland or something?
Let's see. No, you get on foot too.
Ooh.
Dun, dun,
Look
dun,
at
dun, 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 dun.
That's funny. Oh, wow. Wow.
That is a powerful gun.
It is.
Look at that. Look at the next level, and then it had the password. Remember when they used to give you like,
Mhm.
So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, Mad Max. Let me show you the cart. Looks cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mel Gibson right there.
Mel
It
Gibson.
looks exactly like the video game. The cover.
It does exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more. Old Mad Max. Oh, I think we actually have two more. Okay. All right. This was another one that I was like, I saw the name and I saw the cart art and I'm like, dang, that looks awesome. And then I queued up the video for it and I'm like, okay, I've never seen this one before. So here we go.
Whoa.
Kind of got like a Double Dragon feel to it, but with
Yeah, it
guns.
does, but with guns. Double Dragon meets Contra.
Oh, she shot a dog. Or it is a she or a he. This is okay. But-
I mean, the physics engine is legit on this one.
look at that.
Wow.
Dang. This is.
It's like G.I. Jane?
Oh my gosh. This is like a robot. This is like Westwood. Robot. And.
Any guesses? If not, then we'll
No.
scan. Okay. I'm kind of excited to kind of scan through this one because I'm thinking it might. Okay, so the game is called Time Lord.
Okay.
So I'm thinking,
Okay.
look at this. The cart art looks really
Yeah.
cool.
Looks really
Yeah.
good.
Let's scan through it because I think that Maybe they go through different time periods. Like that looked like kind of like Wild West. You know what I
It
mean?
did.
And
It was a
now,
Wild
now they're maybe like some sort of military base in the future or present time, maybe. So maybe there's like an actual storyline of like them traveling through time. So it might be interesting to play through.
Oh yeah, that's definitely futuristic right there.
Yeah, that's futuristic. So maybe it goes from like the past into the future.
time.
Ahead of its time.
Whoa.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Well, heat seeking bullets. Awesome.
Are they using some kind of cheat code? Because they are not taking any damage.
They aren't taking any.
Oh, yeah, they are.
There's some
Yeah.
damage.
Okay. That's a good one. All right,
That's
I got one more. That's Time Lord. So that's a good pickup. And these are all like $2-3 games, you know. So
Of course.
that was a good one. Okay, let me see where I'm at here. All right. Doing this on the fly.
Doing
All
it
right,
live.
Here we go. Last one.
Ooh, oh shoot. What's it? The dragon one on that was big on Xbox.
Made by Bandai.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's 1942, but with dragons.
That's really fun.
This cart is like pristine. Like this might be like the best. I mean, it looks like it just came out of a wrapper.
Oh, what's the? I mean, I might be wrong, but what's the one that was huge on Xbox? It was on rails.
Oh, like Panzer Dragon or something?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It's not that Panzer Dragoon.
Mm-mm.
Okay, maybe it's not that. I thought maybe that was a remake of this or something.
Any guesses?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Nailed it. No. All right, you ready? Here it is. Here's the cart. Dragon Spirit.
Nope. Never seen that one.
Look at that thing, man. It's like brand
Never
new.
seen that one.
I hadn't either, but as another one where I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool art on there.
You won't even have to blow in that one to get it to work.
Yeah.
A good name, you know, so I kind of got like some good titles, you know. Dragon Magic or Dungeon Magic, Dragon Spirit, you know.
And Mad Max.
And I got some other ones. I got Spy Hunter.
Yay,
Ooh, nice.
love it.
I got Silent Service.
I've played that one too.
I got Track and Field 2. Yeah, these are all the
Did you get the mat with it to run?
Nope.
Okay.
the $2 to
just move the
$3
controller.
bins. You know, I'm still kind of filling out my collection, so I'll buy all the cheap games, you know. But I bought this one for myself for the DS. This is the Reflex like motocross ATV game. Thought it looked cool, you know. I
Okay.
splurged a little bit, $5.
Whoa, grip tight and hang on.
And then on the original Xbox, Mech Assault.
Mech Assault,
Got that
bro.
one.
This is an amazing game. It's like one of the games like where I saw it and I'm like, I think I played that. And then I turned around and looked at the back and I'm like, I have played that. So I wanted it, you know. I don't know why
Yeah.
I don't have my
Yeah,
original
Mech
one.
Assault was fun.
Great game. Okay, and the last thing I got is should bring it down here a little bit. I got a little stand for my Game Boy that I got.
Your OG Game Boy.
So I went back to that rose color gaming Etsy
Yep.
page, you know. So this is a little thing. It sits on there like this. It's like $7 or something.
Yeah,
It's like etched on it. A little Game Boy. Look how cute.
that's
little Game
awesome.
Boy
Yeah,
is on there.
I love looking at all their stands. They have stands for
Look at that.
controllers.
There's Game Boy on the side.
Yeah, for
Got a little
handhelds.
Game Boy. It's got.
Okay.
They make this. They make stuff for all the little consoles. So
Pete, that's not all your pickups.
what was my other pickup? What'd I get? Well, what'd I get?
Think about it. Think real hard.
I don't know. Give me a clue.
I gave you some pickups.
Oh, you did? I don't have them down here. Dang it. I'll save it
gave
for
you-
next week.
Oh, okay.
Obi has a stack of carts.
I've had a
and,
little double
games.
stack.
He has a little double stack
Oh,
and
man.
a baseball card. So I got those. They're still in my middle console of my truck. I put them in there when I left your place, and I just got home like literally like an hour before we started doing this. So,
Opie told me privately. He said, "Man, I gave Pete a stack of games. I'm really excited for him to show them off on the podcast. It's going to mean a lot to me for him to. It's going to show me that he really cares when he shows them off." And
I'm sorry.
Did not say that. I did not say that.
But that's my pickups, and I'll show those next week. It'll give me something to talk about.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right. Well, Pete, take us through the social medias. Oh, wait, Opie, do you have one?
No, I don't. I'm just going to say I'm going to have to raise my pickup game. I've had a couple of weeks without pickups. So
yeah. Pete, take us through the socials real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Yep, we're on Twitter at Anything Newcast. We don't really tweet a lot of. Well, we tweet some of our stuff, like our pickups. Like if you check out our stuff on there, and like we like to tag the things where we get stuff. So maybe we'll tag Rose Color Gaming.
Yeah,
on Twitter. See if we can get in some community feedback on that kind of stuff. Send us an email, anythingnewpodcast@gmail.com. We're on the gram, Anything New Podcast.
Yeah, we do it for the gram.
We share like kind of a lot of the same stuff on all the socials, but it's we'll share like our pickups on Instagram and our YouTube where we can watch us live on there. It's the bit.ly link, Anything New YT. That YT's for YouTube. And our Discord where we like to really talk with our community. And we get sometimes we'll talk about things like Matt was in a big discussion about Horizon this week, talking about the video games and stuff. And like we kind of like get all together when we talk about or something's coming out, like the what was it, like the gameplay trailer for Horizon or State of Play.
State of Play.
Yeah, so there's a lot of discussion in there, and collectible discussion, movie discussion, just there's
everything.
There's all kinds of stuff like
anime, sports.
We chat in there,
what have you.
We chat in there way too much. Just kidding. It's probably not enough. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, hey Pete, real quick. We didn't mention this, but we're not doing the audio podcast anymore, right?
That's correct. So we kind of upgraded our streaming game to this lovely service that we're using now, and in doing so, we kind of made the collective decision to stop paying for the audio hosting service, audio only, because we were able to get on more platforms through the streaming service. Like we can do it through Facebook and YouTube, and probably even Instagram if we want to set that up. So maybe that's something we might do in the future. But yeah, so you can still listen to us as a podcast. You just have to queue up the YouTube video and then
and close your eyes
to it.
And with the holiday and everything, sorry about last week. Are we going to pick up Divinity this week, guys? Are we going to get back on it, or
yeah?
Because
I think so.
We took a week. We took a week off.
Well, I was out of town with some family stuff I had to deal with. But yeah, I think I was planning to do it tomorrow, right? Tuesday.
Yep.
I like to play video games.
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't even care. And one more thing, I was remiss to I forgot to say at the beginning, Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and thank you to all the veterans and service people for their service, both still here and no longer with us. A special thanks to everybody who are protecting our country and our freedoms, because I can't imagine doing that. That takes more guts and gusto than I have. So I appreciate everybody who does that. So happy Memorial Day.
Absolutely. Not just a long weekend. We got to appreciate. Awesome.
All right, guys, we're out of here until, I guess tomorrow when we play Divinity. If you want to watch us do that, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you next Sunday for episode number 43.
Oh, 42, Jackie Robinson. Sorry.
We forgot. Oh, wow. How can
one of the most important numbers in all of sports, 42, Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, that was this week. Yep. We'll find a 43 for next week for sure.
42.